I'm standing here outside of the Treasures exhibit in the British Library, where I just laid eyes upon one of the original copies of Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, written by Christopher Marlowe in 1643, I think. Marlowe is English. It's funny because there's a lot of controversy surrounding Marlowe and whether or not he acted as a spy for the ruling party of the time, for Elizabeth and her reign. I think it was Elizabeth, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it was obviously, Medium was written during the early middle of the Baroque period. Historical relevance, the play itself has a really interesting message about how much money and power can buy you. The whole show is about this scholar who's really well educated, has a lot of money and influence. He summons a demon from hell, and in exchange for his soul, the demon gives him, I think, around 20 years of service. And so he does all this servitude, and then when it's time to go to hell, he doesn't want to. He's like, sorry, changed my mind. And he's trying to use his money and power. He tries to bribe the. I think he tries to bribe the demon out of it, but he ends up going to hell. And so it's a really interesting commentary on privilege, what you can and can't do with your money, and there's this sort of religious justice theme behind it, which I find interesting. Defining characteristics. It's Marlowe. Marlowe's literature is very different in that it didn't always come to a satisfying conclusion, whereas even in a lot of the Shakespeare tragedies of the time, the tragedy was almost the satisfying part of that conclusion. Aside from the hero complex that Shakespeare often fell into with a lot of his work, and other authors of the time, Marlowe's work was not about rewarding cleverness, which was a lot of the work that went on at that time. It was it often had the theme of no matter what you do, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. No matter what you do, you can't escape fate, that kind of thing. This video is running really long. I think it's really interesting, fun play. Fun fact, the book was really small. It's maybe 6 inches tall. So yeah, there's that. That's fun.